right, y'all, so when I saw this news, I absolutely could not believe my eyes. And then when I saw the press release that came from this, it made me want to rant. So that's exactly what we're doing here. All right, let's go.
Yeah, you could blow me. I ain't the only. You so lonely. Insecure, they don't control me. I ain't the only.
All right, so as usual, if you like to hear me run my mouth, do not hesitate to check out my podcast at patreon.com/AdrianExpression. The link for that and many other things are in my description box. Let's talk about this, all right? So it's literally what you see in the title. The San Francisco NAACP chapter apparently has rejected a plan or a proposal, right? Like a potential plan that would apparently give $5 million per person of reparations back to obviously the citizens of San Francisco. Let's check out something from NPR. They published this on the 18th of March. San Francisco's Board of Supervisors have signaled that they're ready to right racist wrongs of the past, at least in spirit. In a unanimous vote on Tuesday, all the members accepted a draft plan of more than 100 reparations recommendations for the city's eligible black residents. Those proposals include a whopping one-time payment of $5 million to each adult and a complete clearing of personal debt, including credit cards, taxes, and student loans. Whoosh. Okay. Black residents would also be able to collect an annual income of at least $97,000 for 250 years and buy homes within the city limits for $1. So if that sounds too good to be true, just listen to the next part of this. The move by the board was largely procedural, an intermediate step in a much longer process. It does not bind the city to any of the ideas presented in the 60-page proposal by the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee, which in 2020 was tasked with addressing the institutional city-sanctioned harm that has been inflicted upon African American communities, right? So yes, this is a large plan, this is a large number, or there are multiple parts of this plan because it's apparently 100 recommendations. But they're talking about clearing debt, they're talking about a $5 million payment, they're talking about annual income, blah, 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 buying homes for $1. So yes, like it's obviously, it sounds very ambitious. And on top of that, the city is not bound to this these plans at all. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, girl, y'all need to pay up. Like, I don't care what nobody's talking about. Y'all need to pay up, period. And I'm not even in San Francisco. I'm just like, y'all need to pay up. Y'all need to pay their ass, period. So now this is the kicker. The San Francisco chapter of the NAACP rejected the potential measure, arguing that reparations should be disbursed via investments and opportunities for the black community and not direct cash payments. And I'm just like, if y'all don't put this coin in these people's pockets, if y'all don't put this coin directly into the black community's pockets, but let's read it. Let's read what they're talking about. San Francisco NAACP rejects $5 million reparation payment to blacks. And it's so crazy. It's so crazy that this entire press release referred to black people as blacks, like throughout the whole time. Anyway, so basically they're calling for reparations to focus on investments and opportunities in 5 key areas, which we will discuss in a second. So the San Francisco NAACP today called upon the Board of Supervisors to reject a one-time $5 million repayment to blacks, but instead but instead called upon the city to make investments in 5 key areas. And these elements are education, jobs, housing, healthcare, and a cultural center for blacks. And it's just, this sounds real cute. And this would be cute in addition to the $5 million, but in addition to the direct cash payment. Because so for some reason, direct cash payments are good for these huge fucking companies that want bailouts. They're so useful in every other aspect of economy, of society, but when it comes to black people, we just, oh no, we can't. It's like that, you know that proposition that goes viral on social media sometimes, like where people always ask the question like, would you rather have dinner with Jay-Z or would you rather have $500,000? This is how it seems to me. Like, oh no, we can do all those things that you talk about in addition to paying up, period. But listen to how foolishly they speak about these things. So the first one is invest in education. This is what they say. Black students don't perform as well as their peers. We need remedial programs to help our children with reading, math, and science. The school district and the city have a moral obligation to raise up all children, especially those whose families have been disadvantaged by discrimination. To say black students don't perform well as their peers and then to go after that and say we need remedial programs, no, what black students need is resources and coin. Like jumping straight to remedial programs when in some of these black schools, they don't have textbooks that's up in some of them, in certain parts of this country, they don't have the coin to get them the resources, to get them the standardized testing, tutoring that other people have access to if they got coin. And if you deposit coin in these black people's pockets, you don't think they smart enough to use that shit for their immediate needs and also to plan for the fucking future. It's just like, it just feels like paternalism. And also I think you have to be careful when you're laying all of this at the feet of the people who are trying to keep black people away from certain resources in the first place. It's like you're looking to America to not only establish these programs, you're rejecting all this material, this liquid coin and cash, right? You're rejecting that and looking to America to not only set up, but to be in charge of these kinds of programs when you know that America is the reason why we have lack of access to resources in the first place. So if y'all had that coin, that capital deposited directly into y'all's hands and you took the power away from these people who don't even want y'all to have any resources in the first place, to me that makes more sense. I don't know. Then they're talking about economic empowerment with President Biden's infrastructure bill. We want to see more black people get the opportunity to get jobs on the billions of dollars in infrastructure work that will be done in our community and state. And it's just like for me, the whole point of reparations is to bypass labor and get to the capital. Why are you, and to me, obviously, it is important for black people to have access to employment and jobs, But in my opinion, the whole point of reparations is acknowledging the fact that work was already done for fucking free. And the people who did that shit are disadvantaged in this society, or at least a lot of the descendants of the people who did that work for fucking free, slavery. Those people, their descendants are being disadvantaged, currently disadvantaged right now. And the descendants of the people who got that work done for them are benefiting still, right? So yes, like obviously we need more investment in these resources for black people to get jobs and employment, all that shit. But when it comes to specifically the topic of reparations, the whole point is bypassing that labor. The whole point is like, bitch, labor has already been done and we ain't been paid for that shit. Liquid cash, honey, fuck you talking about? Yes, invest in the future. Yes, invest in career and workforce development, all that shit. Yes, but a lot of labor has already been done and it's been done for free and the coin has not been seen yet. Y'all been soaking that shit up. I mean, passing that shit down family after family. You know what I mean? Y'all white people have been passing that shit down. The next one is housing. We want more housing, more public housing, more affordable housing for blacks. There should be preferential treatment for blacks. I hate that they saying this. You can say black people, damn, it's okay. There should be preferential treatment for blacks to keep our people in this city. San Francisco has fallen from 16% black population to less than 5%. We need a new version of 40 Acres and a Mule that benefits and assists black people to live and thrive in San Francisco, a city that has done everything it can to drive us out, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay, I get it. But for me, and I'll reiterate, the whole point of getting that liquid cash, the whole point of like pumping liquid cash into the community is not to have to depend on the same people who are discriminatory against you to create more programs that might help some of y'all get out of it, even though we know that the whole entire structure of the society counts on some people. It literally depends on people being poor and disenfranchised. So it's just like, take the liquid cash, then from there we get to decide where we put it. Rejecting liquid cash and telling them, oh, actually no, here's what you need to do for us, and then acting like, oh my goodness, I didn't see this coming, when it never gets done, or when the programs aren't fucking effective, or when you're looking at what the government doing, like, damn, I could have used that, we could have used that money better than they using it now. Of course. And for healthcare, they say blacks don't have the same lifespan as the majority population. We need programming that positively impacts our health and longevity and mental health. And it's just like, yes, these things are true. Yes, we do need specific programs that highlight the fact that, we don't have access to a lot of the same resources, a lot of the same capital, but it comes back to capital. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of the same resources, capital, education, but that goes back to resources. Access to healthcare, those definitely need to be addressed. But I don't think that we have to do one or the other, like reject cash, reject a liquid payment, reject coin in order to get our healthcare needs addressed by the same people who don't want to fucking address them. It's just, and they just talk about how our people need a black center of town, just like there is a Japantown and Chinatown. We need to preserve and protect the Fillmore Heritage Center, etc., etc. I saw Dr. Amos C Brown here, the president of the San Francisco branch of the NAACP, had to clarify what was going on after people's response to this press release into what San Francisco was saying. He's apparently not against direct cash reparations, but wants that and more, which is definitely not what we read in the press release. It's definitely not the announcement that was made before, but okay. And then he also said that he doesn't want to set black Americans up for failure and says that we need realistic proposals. $5 million. He says that $5 million is an unrealistic number, it's an arbitrary number. And I'm just like, girl, like imagine letting a reverend or any clergy tell you what's an unrealistic number when it comes to finances. Like, girl, y'all be running building funds for buildings that don't never get built. Like, we good off that. Like, we don't need no clergy, we don't need no reverends, no pastors telling us what's realistic when it comes to coin and what's not, because y'all find a way to make whatever, so we can find a way too. Girl, get out my face. But notice the language that they're using, right? Like, we don't want to set black Americans up for failure. That's a lot of coin. I saw somebody else say on social media, like, oh, well, we see what happens with lottery winners. They just spend all the coin. And it's just like, no one policed them ancient ass white people this hard with what they were going to do with the profits of the enslavement of black people. Nobody was just like, oh, they're gonna splurge it, oh, they're gonna spend it on something that they don't need, oh, they're gonna waste it, oh, they're gonna do this. What happened is that them niggas got to work, made the profit, and the white people spent it however the fuck they want. Then they built the safety nets, they passed down the wealth, they built whatever houses, they built whatever communities, that's what they did. That's what they did. So I don't know what this whole thing is with this, oh my gosh, black people, guys, don't give these niggas too much coin, they gonna spend all this shit. Like, I'm so sorry. We smart enough, obviously, black people smart enough to survive in this hoe. If you give them $5 million, they gonna be, it's just so insulting to black people to imply that all of them will have just no idea what to do with millions of dollars in their account, or none of them will have any idea, or we can't create programs to teach each other how to do, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, they're not financial literacy programs in white communities, like white people don't waste money. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's just such a very limited and fucked up view of the entire race of black people, or the entire population of black people in this country, to imply that they would just have no idea what to do with coin. In addition to all the other things that the NAACP or whatever is asking for, even though the very government that they asking this shit from don't want their ass to have shit. But you see what I'm saying? It's just, I don't like these stereotypical ass, uninformed ideas of black people that make us all seem like we're a monolith, and then people use that to literally reject plans of us getting possibly, getting cash payments. I think that's working directly against the advancement of black people, of color. But girl, I want to know what y'all think. I'm sure we're gonna get so many different views and opinions in the comments, but I can't wait to hear what y'all think about this, because I have had such complicated feelings on it. Thank you so much for watching. Love y'all so much, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.